This is Inside Ashford. What's going down in Ashford Town?
This edition of Inside Ashford is brought to you in association with Warp Design, website, graphic design and email marketing for Kent. Visit the website www.warp-design.co.uk. Hello and welcome along to this edition of Inside Ashford. I'm Phil Thorne. Paul and Jonathan are with me. Hello, chaps. Hello. Hope you're all safe and well and not underwater. Weather's been pretty rubbish of late, but we'll try not to dwell on that too much. Well, maybe a little bit later on. Joining us on the show this week, we've got Chris Dixon, the Arts and Cultural Industries Director for Ashford Borough Council. He's joining us later on to talk all things create and kind of respond to what happened on the last show with the music round table discussion we had. Also going to be speaking to Gemma Woodcock from the HB Golf Academy, something a little bit different to talk about there. And we're going to start the show, as we did with the last one, because it seemed to go down rather well, with some live music. This is a young chap we'll be talking to a bit later on called Ricky Shorter. A lot of you on the local music scene will know Ricky pretty well. We'll talk to him about why people know him a little bit later on. But here's an original track from him called Desert Plains.
My brain from the dehydration, from the lack of rain, and I stop myself from going insane by singing my songs over again. And my soul has chosen this hungry lane, and no one could even steer me away. I got eyes on my back, watching my every move. What they don't know is that it's mine to choose. I gotta keep on fighting, or I shall lose. Look to the skies, but don't think of the blues. There's a song said over my back, I made my choice and never going back. And I look to the skies as they turn black. Gotta keep strong, cause I'll never crack. And I knew what they were thinking, those eyes on my shoulder. Just to keep on going, cause you're growing old. Eyes on my back, watching my every move. What they don't know is that it's mine to choose. I gotta keep on fighting, or I shall lose. Look to the skies, but don't think of the blues. I got eyes on my back, watching my every move. What they don't know is that it's mine to choose. I gotta keep on fighting, or I shall lose. Look to the skies, but don't think of the blues.
Find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Total Ashford.
Right, let's get straight stuck in then. On the last podcast, we had our wonderful music round table event, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Fantastic event. Great response to everyone who watched the video via our new medium of YouTube. Do people know about YouTube? Is it a widely known about medium?
Yeah, I think a few people have come across it.
Yeah, it went down pretty well. Thanks to everyone who took part in that as well, to Steve and to Abby and to James and to the band who blew us away, quite literally, in the studio with their sound on the night, and also blew away our first guest on this evening's show, who's listened to it and kind of got some answers to some of the questions and points that were made. Good evening, Mr. Chris Dixon.
Good evening. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
That's right.
So you've heard the show then? Okay.
Yeah.
What's your initial thoughts?
Well, it's absolutely brilliant. It's another mouthpiece for Ashford. You're really positive about the arts and culture and things going on within the town. So for me, it's an absolute great opportunity to be able to sell all the things that are going on. There's obviously a lot of agendas in there. Some of it positive, some of it negative. There's some bits within Ashford that we're in at a very high point, and there's some bits which we're still at a very low point. And most of the points were quite well made and quite well valued, really. There's lots of things there which I was screaming at the laptop, and I was just saying, I wish I was there.
Go on. For example, for example.
Oh, it's just obviously thinking about the town centre and people saying there's not a great deal of things to do and stuff like that. And of course there are lots of things to do. Once you explore them out and find them, obviously it's not the be all, it's not the end all, but obviously we're working on all those things.
One of the things we just spoke about now, before we even started this recording, is it's for people to go out and explore. But should it be that maybe these things are actually well publicised? We were talking about there maybe not being a way, or too easily a way, of actually advertising events where you're not using the internet, you're not using Facebook or Twitter or Bebo or whatever other social networks you use. I'm sure there are plenty of others available. Is there another way, to actually get event publicity out there?
You're absolutely right. Getting the message out there is so important. And in our experience of delivering the Create Music Festival, supporting for so many years now Revelation St Mary's, and working with all our arts organisations that are based in the town and the borough, the one consistent thing that keeps coming through is it's really difficult to get the message out there. In Ashford, remarkably, it's not that difficult. We do see a lot of people come quite extraordinary distances to experience Ashford arts and cultural scene. It's just trying to get that message out there locally, where maybe the town and a lot of the communities are a little bit sort of still distanced from each other, and it's about trying to get out to all those many growing communities that are sort of building and growing here within the borough.
Now, we're obviously going to talk about sort of the other art side, because you're not just about putting Create together, are you? It's many other aspects of the whole sort of Ashford arts scene and everything to do with that. But if we can focus on Create to start with.
Oh, yes, please.
One of the big talking points was of last week was actual more local acts and what's done to help local acts get involved in Create. Now, from what I've read on Facebook, see, I use these social networks, the entry lines, the means of communication to get your band or your act involved in Create 2014 are actually open it now.
That's right.
Just for those people who haven't obviously seen those posts yet, how do people do that?
So what you do, you can go onto the Create Music Festival website, which would be the first thing that comes up on Google, but it's createfestival.co.uk. You can also search on the Ashford Borough Council website, and there's just a link on both of those two sites to a Survey Monkey, and you could just fill it in, tell us what your band is, what you do, what sort of genre you play, where you come from, what age are you at, and all of your sort of social media links, and we could just listen through, and a small panel of people listen through to 300-400 acts that apply, and we listen, and we also look through people's websites, see where they're playing, see whether they are actually gigging bands, and also we listen to we read their story as well about why they want to play Create, what's special about Create, and obviously a big priority for us is to make sure that the festival is played by local musicians.
Yeah. Last year, of course, 2013, the main act on the main stage at the end of the day were a bit dodgy.
Hey!
Yeah, I was going to get in there, wasn't it? What was the thinking behind actually getting a major act in? Because in previous years, it's kind of been either sort of big covers bands. Green Date played it a few years ago.
That's right.
And you've had other sort of bands,
Rolling Stones and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
What about getting sort of some of the, what was the idea of getting a big thinking signed name, just to get people in?
Every year that we do a consultation and a bit of a review in the festival, and a lot of the feedback was, why are you paying some tribute act to get up there on stage? We want something a little bit more original. Everything that's been played at Create Music Festival is pretty much original music, so why is it being headlined by a tribute act? What's brilliant about Create is that it's a platform for young Ashford and Kent-based musicians to perform and to put on their CV that they supported X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think there seems to be a lot of local festivals popping up at different towns around the country, and they're trying to replicate bigger festivals on the cheap.
Yeah. 2012 as well, and I pardon me if I get this wrong, but 2012 you had people actually physically going around the festival asking for feedback from people on the event. I didn't see any of those in 2013. Were they there?
They were, but not in as many people. What we did a bigger online profile,
right,
and we got a bigger response to that as well.
Right.
So on Facebook and Twitter, we was able to put the Survey Monkey link out there, and we got a bigger audience. What we did manage to do is not go around survey people on the day, because we found it quite difficult to do.
Mm-hmm. Was that because people weren't necessarily in the most sort of soberest of states?
You always get to a certain point in the day, obviously, but also you're asking young volunteers to go out there and speak to people that they don't particularly know, and that was a bit of a feedback. Was a bit difficult. What we did manage to do is collect a lot of email addresses. One
of the things that we're hearing for 2014 is that there will be one more stage, possibly,
right,
but not necessarily music based.
Right. What I'm looking to do is actually transform the acoustic stage, so it becomes a real mix of acoustic artists and spoken word events.
Right.
So it's that real interesting sort of. I recognise that people go to the festival more than just the music, and of course, when you walk around Create, the people sat right in the middle, not listening to any of the stages, are just there to bump into their old schoolmates and have a great time with the family.
Yeah. So cut the atmos.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is bring people more, engage more people into the festival, and bring just a different sparkle to the event. Not only are we just performing to the audience, what we're going to do is get these spoken word artists to actually work within the schools and start to do some development there. We might even be able to get some of the schools and some of the pupils to get up on stage and actually just have a little platform for some of the skits or whatever they develop to perform at the Create Music Festival. It might not just be on that stage as well. There's no reason why this can't spread across. I think spoken word is a bit of roll up.
One final thing before we sort of leave Create for a while. We'll come back to it a bit later on, because we want sort of times and dates for this year's event, but we'll come back to that later on. But one of the things that you may have, it's kind of dwindled a bit in recent years, but certainly for sort of the previous 2 or 3 years, where have the fireworks gone?
It's really funny, because every time someone's always left on the park in Victoria Park, and they just say, I'm just waiting for the fireworks, and I say, oh, there's no fireworks, and they go, well, it was last year. And
it's been about 6 or 7 years, isn't it?
Well, this is my 10th year of organising it. There's never been fireworks.
Right. I was involved in probably certainly for the first couple of years, just as a visitor down there. But from about the third Create onwards, AHBS, hospital radio as it was then, community radio as it is now, have run the car park at the back. Obviously collecting donations for the organisation while we were down there, and I just remember many years standing around in sparkling dealy boppers at 11 o'clock trying to guide the masses of cars trying to leave the fields at the back, and I just remember that as being some of an adrenaline buzz after the big firework events and stuff like that. And then it just seemed to literally go out like a damp squib, if you like, and the fireworks. Was there any, do you know of the history as to why it stopped?
No, not at all. When I started in 2005, I picked up my budget and ran with it.
Right.
And I ran with the festival as it had been running a couple of years previous to that as well. Cool. So it was my opportunity to put my own spin on the festival, but I certainly wasn't anything to do with those conversations. In a way, fireworks, they're okay, and it's something that you can invest in. That's fine. I'm investing what I've got in what I think is good quality and something that really supports the local music scene.
Cool. We'll come back and talk some more shortly.
Have your say on Inside Ashford. Call Ashford 885 243.
You heard him earlier on. We're going to have a chat with him now. Ricky Shorter, part of Moorland. And thank you for joining us in the studio. I've got to admit, we're going to play a couple more of your tracks before the end of the show tonight. And it's all your own stuff you're playing. Yeah. Okay. How many songs have you actually written of your own? Because we've had artists in here before. We've maybe got one or two written. They're just starting out, and that's why they're coming to us. But how many have you got?
Oh, blimey. It must be 6, 7 or 8. I reckon.
Yeah, 6 or 7 original stuff.
Slowly getting more.
Okay. So you're 19 years old.
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been playing the guitar?
A good 13 to 14 years.
Right. And for those people who know Ricky quite well, they'll know that he's not just obviously known for his new stuff that he's coming through and his original stuff, but you've also been kind of doing a bit of work as a tribute guitarist.
Absolutely, yes. That was something that I really, really enjoyed doing. So I did the lead guitar as the role of Angus Young in Livewire, and we did a wonderful tour around the UK. Right. And then after that ended, I went with AC/DC UK as the rhythm guitarist, and we went around Europe, which was very exciting indeed.
So 19, you've done a tour of the UK and a tour of Europe.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you about 3 years ago play at Club Q, Ashford Rock, Steve Monk's adventure there, with a little band called Novation.
Oh, yeah.
And things have kind of steadily gone on the increase since there, really, haven't they?
Yeah. Lots and lots and lots. It feels like 10 years ago. So loads of work has gone in. Loads and loads of work.
Judging by the first track we heard from you, and we're going to hear a couple more later,
yeah.
You've got a different style. I mean, obviously, you're playing AC/DC guitar. Everything's fast and furious, and that's completely different.
Yeah.
How?
I'm worn out.
That's a fair answer, I suppose, isn't it?
No, I like. I've quite a diverse taste in music, and I love the rock and roll. I still whack on, Back in Black now, but then I like to mellow out. I like to be able to write songs that I don't know that you could maybe listen to throughout dinner or just bang on when you get in from work. I like to be able to try and write songs that give that effect as well.
So you don't have to be in a certain sort of mindset to write then. Because I'm thinking if you're going to be touring around the UK and around Europe, you've got plenty of time on tour buses and whatever to actually write stuff.
Yeah. Well, with writing, you do unfortunately get large blocks of writer's block, let's call it. So there have been long times where I can't even begin to write a sensible verse that you wouldn't laugh at.
Right.
And then I don't know, something I like to write about situations that one, people can relate to, or two, that have affected myself in a good or not so great way. Right.
It's very personal stuff to you.
Yeah.
Because there's so many songs that are written sort of just generic, but you actually write personal stuff.
Yeah.
I suppose most you wouldn't expect many 19-year-olds to be able to write sort of personal, deep stuff, but obviously you've crammed a lot in.
I have.
Yeah. So what's next then?
I would love the Moorland shall I say, sorry, to go forward, to progress and do even bigger tours than I ever have done.
Excellent. Well, listen, thanks very much. We'll hear another one from you now, and then we'll hear another one at the end of the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Was a thing that you didn't know it was a place you'd never go. It was a feeling, didn't show. So why did you have to go? Love's the emotion that you had. It was an aura that was there. You were never sad. You were the people I was lucky to have. So why Why did you have to go? Why's it always happen to the good and not the bad? You never realize, oh, what it is you had. And I say, well, let the evil live, the ones you should never forgive, the ones that kill and steal but never give. Over there it's a better place, 'cause I miss your voices and I miss your face and I miss the joy, friends, that you gave her. But now all I see is this lifeless grave, empty stone. Live together and now forever you lay still, like the most beautiful statues that ever will, yeah, ever will. Many hearts, friends, you shall stay, and we will join you one, yeah, beautiful.
Your community, your say.
Fantastic performance there from Ricky, and he'll be back a little bit later on with another one of his own songs. Right, it's not just about music on this show. We're going to be talking a little bit of sport now. Now, the weather in recent times has kind of made it difficult to get out and do any kind of sporting activity. There's football matches being cancelled left, right and centre all over the place, and even the hardy golfer has been struggling to get out on the course lately because of flooding and courses not being open to play on. But you can still play golf even in these inclement times, because opened recently out at Westwell is the HB Golf Academy, and Gemma from the academy joins me now. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So tell us about how you can play golf indoors. What's the whole idea behind it?
Well, basically you can play a round of golf, you can have a golf lesson, regardless of the weather outside.
Right, and it's kind of for anyone to go along, any kind of level golfer, or
any level, from beginner to professional.
Right, and it's a school as well, is it?
Yes, it is an academy.
Okay, so you've got obviously to confuse too much. What's the technology behind it? How do you play golf indoors? I mean, have you taken holes in walls, or or is it a bit more technologically advanced than that?
It's something called the GC2, right, which is a launch monitor.
A launch monitor. Sounds very NASA. Is it like that?
It's not quite as technical as that,
right,
but basically it uses cutting-edge technology that measures the movements of the face of the club and the golf ball to ensure each golfer has a tailored improvement program. Right,
so anyone who's kind of played on their own video games at home and played Wii or something like that,
yes,
it's kind of very much more advanced than that. You have a full-length club as opposed to a Wii controller.
Yes,
in front of the wall.
I think the graphics are probably better as well.
Yeah.
It gives you all kinds of information.
Right.
You can also play a round of golf as well.
And how big is this? How big is this academy? Because it's got to be huge for sort of a screen that size, isn't it?
It's in a converted barn.
Right.
The size of the screen kind of feels it would be the size of, say, a wall.
Right. Okay. Well, you're looking sort of your average living room size wall and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that big. So does that mean then that there's kind of like you get almost like quite a personalised
Yes, because it is built into an enclosure.
Right, so it's quite a personalised one-on-one. I suppose when you're learning golf and you're particularly up at the range, I've had one golf lesson in my life, and it wasn't very good. But I was always conscious about the fact that there were other people better than me, or anyone's better than me, to be honest, further down the driving range who were having lessons at the same time. But this is very much a one-on-one.
Yes, it is. It's a very private environment, so people that feel self-conscious, they wouldn't have those kind of issues there.
Right. So you said about playing a full 18 holes as well?
Yes, you can. We currently have the Belfry
Right.
on the system, but we're looking to get another package of golf courses.
The only way I'm ever going to get to play the Belfry is go down there.
Exactly, and whatever the weather, you can play the Belfry.
Fantastic. So you've got a website, I believe.
We have. It's currently under construction.
Right, okay. So if people want to book to come down to the Academy, have a go, have a look around, how do they get in contact with you?
They can give us a call.
Right.
Or they can check out our Facebook page.
Okay. So give us the phone numbers.
It's 01233 642 069.
Brilliant. And Facebook page is just search for
HB Golf Academy.
Fantastic. Now you've got some other services that you're going to be running out of the Academy.
Yes, we
in
have.
Not too distant future as well. Do you want to enlighten a bit on that? Just a little bit.
It's a golf concierge service.
Right. Golf concierge.
Yeah.
Right. They got like a caddy.
We could provide a caddy.
Right.
Basically anything to do with golf, we can arrange that for you.
Right.
So the idea behind it is to kind of take the headache out of arranging golf days, society events, corporate events, booking golf lessons, booking hotels, anything like that. We can organise that for you.
Fantastic. So whether it being for sort of businesses or for charities, I mean, a lot of charities organise golf days and things like that, don't they? So they literally come to you and everything can be sorted out.
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay.
We'll just make phone calls and we organise it all for you.
Brilliant. Well, keep us informed on that.
Will do.
And I guess you're one of the people who hopes the weather doesn't improve, really. 'Cause more people
Well, yeah, it is kind of working to our advantage at the moment. But, I feel sorry for all these golf courses. There's some lovely courses around here and, the weather's just not on their side. So, I really do hope that it does improve. So,
well, thanks for coming in. Short and
Thank
sweet.
you.
Thank you very much. And we'll keep more posted and more content about the Academy will go up on totalashford.com as and when we get it.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Listen to the podcast whenever you like. www.totalashford.com.
Right, we're back with the second part of our specially extended interrogation of Chris Dixon, Arts and Cultural Industries Manager for Ashford Borough Council. Chris, we've kind of exhausted Create, but we'll come back to that in a little while. There's plenty of other parts of the sort of the arts and culture side of Ashford that we could touch on, and we could be here a long time talking about it. But let's talk about one of the big projects of the last 2-3 years, and that's Revelation St Mary's.
Yeah, it's been you say 2 years, and I suppose it's been up and running for 2 years, but I suppose it's been a huge part of my life really. When I came into Ashford, everyone was saying, we need a venue, we need a platform to experience high quality art. Now, given the reputation that St Mary's is starting to grow, we're getting more and more investment. We've got recognition now from the Arts Council and Kent County Council and other funders, and people are starting to come on board. So we're now starting to grow the team. We've now got a fantastic general manager backed by fantastic administration support, and we're starting to grow the programme with some creative directors, would you believe? So creative directors in the heart of the town centre, not just programming what they want to see, programming work that they think is sensible for Ashford to grow into its its cultural peak, but also to bring people along on that journey, because we're going to be programming things that people might not expect, and we need to do a lot of engagement with the townspeople, those people out in the wider borough, and of course our young people within schools, getting them on that sort of journey to work with some world-class artists, and hopefully that's going to influence them and be something special that they remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, let's talk about the forthcoming programme that's coming up then at St Mary's. It's a fantastic lineup of classical roots.
Classical Roots is one part of it. We've got two cultural directors. So one is looking at more modern programming. So you can imagine, the sort of Johnny Flynn's of this world and this, that, and the other. And Anna's programmed in Courtney Pine, which is going to be a great thing. Yeah, Classical Roots is going down a very different route. Obviously, it would naturally be a beautiful. It's going to be naturally beautiful within that church. I think when you invest within St Mary's and when you invest within Classical Roots, you're going to be investing in a little surprise, because you don't quite know what you're going to get, but you know what you're going to get is top quality. So all of those things are starting to come up.
How is something that sorry Phil if I'm jumping the gun here, but something that we've thought about frequently, both through running Total Ashford and again last week when we were discussing local music scene, is how are the council reaching out and promoting your programme to what we keep thinking of as basically newcomers to the town? Because obviously Ashford's a growing town, there's estates popping up here, there and everywhere, people are moving to the area. How is there an outreach program for getting people involved in the community and joining in with the local scene, rather than, you know, just this hardcore of people that always come, that always join in the discussion, that always comment on websites and so on?
I think that's a really fair point, and I think that we're still at a very early stage on that. And through outlets like, you know, Create Music Festival, where we say we're trying to get into schools and trying to get people to be part of our platform. Revelation St Mary's, all of the acts that perform at St Mary's are or support acts are local acts. We're trying to get local singing groups and local choirs to be backing world class artists, and we're trying to get out there as much as possible. I suppose myself, given the arts, I'm just a bit of a one-man band within the council, so I suppose what I try and do is deflect that and try and support our arts organisations in the borough to do that outreach. We've got Jasmine Vardaman Dance Company who have relocated to the town, and they've got their own education officers who are doing thousands of participatory events within schools, and there's big arts days coming up. Stow Valley Arts, one of the leading arts and environmental organisations based in the heart of the town centre, with 2 part-time education officers. They're getting out there, they're doing that work. So for me, it's as a one-man band, if I tried to do it myself, I don't think I'd get anything done. I think from a more strategic position, I'm trying to make sure that Ashford continues to grow. It continues to grow its art scene. And it is difficult. Obviously, times are tough, but all I ever hear from my councillors and from my directors is, how can I help you grow the arts? Because that's what they want, because most people within that council office there are Ashford residents, and of course they want a vibrant.
That's good to hear, because it could be the first thing that gets cut, couldn't it?
It could be, and if you look over the pond, I have to say that there's not a great deal of arts officers out there anymore. And when I used to think in 2005 when I started, I used to meet up with quite a lot of arts officers from other towns, and I've actually gone, and it's very difficult. Where they're starting to fall, I suppose the opportunity lies there for Ashford to start taking the lead.
That's a good point. You spoke about the dance company that have relocated. Tell us a bit more about them, because have they got new premises locally?
Well, yeah. What we did, it was a sort of an opportunity where we bumped into each other, and they were looking around Ashford because they wanted some space, and they've been going around Kent and East Sussex trying to find that perfect location. Of course, when you think about their Arts Council organisational bid that they got, they're spending all this money that they have from the Arts Council to invest in their world-class organisation. They're spending it on hiring venues most of the time. So why don't we just try and invest that money into quality artistic practice and quality education within our schools? And what we tried to do was almost give them a space.
Right.
So we found a space for them within the Stir Centre. They've set up home there. They've got their offices there. They've got all, they're employing local staff into their offices, and they're creating their work, which goes out around the world. And if you just have a look on Jasmine Vardaman website, you'll see some of the amazing high-tech, high-octane sort of work that they do. It's phenomenal. It's a real big coup for us to get such a big organisation. They relocated here from Brighton and London because they didn't feel that they were getting the support there.
See, now that's amazing. I mean, with the reputation of the art scene that certainly London has naturally got, but Brighton as well. I mean, in terms of sort of arts, culture and creativity, that's probably fairly close to London in terms of being up there. But
let's be fair,
the country's reputation.
It's flooded in those areas, and obviously they don't have the transport links that we have. Jasmine Vardaman are an international company, and they just fly up 38 minutes up to London to meet with Sadler's Wells, and they go the other way to Paris, Brussels and Lille. It's the biggest opportunity for them. Obviously all of their dancers relocated here. There's an economic impact, and we're getting some fantastic product from them. Obviously they're working as hard as they can to reach all schools and educational organisations. It's brilliant. So we've got a new vision for them, really, because they've been so successful and so well regarded. Within the borough, we're starting to look at expanding what they do.
Right.
So where people might want a theatre for Ashford, what I'm trying to do is slowly nudge and gently develop a performance space for the Jasmine Vardaman Company to show their work before they fly off around the world.
Yeah.
So Ashfordians can see it first. They can bring in all their partners who also want to showcase work before they take it out to the rest of the world. And we've been having some really fascinating conversations with some major theatres and some major festivals who are completely signed up to this vision. So what we've got is St Mary's as a 350-seater venue, which is naturally good for music, but obviously we want to cater for a broad range of arts. Jasmine Vardaman with an amazing dance production space, which could also be used for theatre and for other art forms. And we're slowly growing and building that. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because we've got X amount of £1 million bid into the Arts Council, and we're just waiting to see whether we can go through to round 2. So I suppose that's a lot of my job, explaining really. I suppose I can't get out there as much as I can, tub thumping around saying what's going on. I suppose I am sat there fiddling with budgets and application forms and trying to make sure that Ashford is a priority for these major funders.
Right. Brilliant. Okay, we're nearly coming to the end of it now. So let's unless there's anything specific you wanted to kind of go into in any more detail, Chris.
Well, I mean, I'm really passionate about all of the arts, and I regularly go to take today for example. There was the first meeting was, this is Chris. This is the guy who makes everything happen.
Right.
My second meeting, this is a guy who hasn't done anything, and it's just that thing that I want to make sure that everyone knows that my office is open, and I'm accessible, and I love to meet people. I can help individual artists with one-to-one business support, all the way through to being a dating agency service for businesses with good arts product, and just helping people with their project and giving them a bit of advice and where to go. I've had many chance meetings within my time here in Ashford, and so many of them have come to such great arts product, and that's what I really want to keep doing for the borough, really.
Brilliant, thank you. Let's talk briefly again about Create. 27th of July?
Sunday.
Got the date right?
Sunday,
yeah.
27th of July. And we're going to have Right Track Music want to also invest within another Saturday night sound check. We had Tim Burgess of Charlatans last year, which is a massive coup.
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't a Saturday night sound check, it was a Friday night sound check, because the agent phoned me up and said, we've made a massive boo. I said, what's happened?
So this year's free then?
Yeah. They said, we've got to change the date. And I said, well, no, you've got to change your date. He said, well, he's headlining a major festival and the gig's 25 grand. Well, obviously, I know how much I was paying. And
so you moved it.
Which doesn't even make 10%. So I moved it. So we're looking for an act of similar ilk, supported by hopefully Ashford-based musicians, and announcements will come as soon as I know them. I've got expressions of interest out there.
Fantastic.
Many agents will be laughing,
right.
And I'll negotiate as hard as I can.
Well, come back and tell us. But,
that'd be brilliant.
So at the Create this year, then you've got the main stage.
Yep.
Headliner. When do you normally announce the headliner? When did you announce Dodgy for last year?
Well, it's I announced pretty much as soon as contracts are signed,
right?
And there's different press opportunities. It would be really great if I can get a headline act before the submissions close,
right.
So I can tell Ashford-based musicians that this is who you can end up supporting. So
Brilliant.
Apply now. So just as soon as possible. So I would imagine in a month or two.
Fantastic. Well, come back and let us know.
Absolutely.
That'd
Thank you.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed for that, Chris. We'll be back in touch soon.
Thank you.
Find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Total Ashford.
Jonathan's been quite quiet during the recording of this show. It's because he's been putting together a huge gig list for your pleasure, and it would take us an age to go through it, so we're going to cherry pick some of the best stuff that's happening during the course of this programme. For example, Platform 5, February the 7th, Friday evening. What they got?
We've got High Tide with support from Freddie Green and A Few Good Men and Thomas Ashby.
Thomas Ashby, I've seen down there a few times at the open mic nights in the past. Also at the Windmill on the same night, What the Funk doing their usual pop and rock covers. That name has got me. Windmill, the following night, the 8th.
Juicy Lucy.
What is Juicy Lucy?
No idea.
Is it like a Thin Lizzy tribute, but a bit sort of raunchier?
I did try to find out, and their Facebook page just says Juiciest Lucy or something to that
No, I
effect.
might have to go.
No
I
further
genuinely might have to
information
go.
available. It's a mystery.
Going into the town, February the 8th, Saturday night as well, Kent covers band called Indigo Stone are doing their usual sort of 60s range of covers at the George on that night as well. Onwards to Valentine's weekend. If you're not noshing your face or drinking lots of wine or watching poorly made television, you should be out, because there is so much happening that weekend.
Starting off, Electric Beatles at the George Hotel are doing a Valentine's special.
Right, tribute to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Do you think the band that are playing at the Windmill on the same night, the Love Cats, are a Cure tribute band?
I hope so.
Yeah, I'd actually go and see a Cure tribute band on Valentine's Day.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Also, then that weekend, the Saturday night is absolutely huge. There are so many gigs going on the Saturday night. We'll start at Platform 5. Ashford's heaviest band, Black and the Name, are playing at Platform 5 on February the 15th. Support from Jukebox Monkey, if I get it right, Jukebox Monkey, Thumbscrew and the Flickknife Barbers, and Hours to Destroy. That is going to be a monstrous night if you like your music heavy.
That's going to be a great way to go for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. Broken Heart followed by Broken Bones, I think, that night. On to the Windmill on the same night.
Got Boneyard Junction playing their established 4-piece, playing a wide selection of cool covers, apparently.
Excellent. Now, Revelation St Mary's. Chris mentioned this earlier on, actually. ZRI presents Brahms and the Gypsy. It's the first part of the Classical Roots series, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And they've got a real mix going on there. I think everything from klezmer to full-on traditional classical music.
Excuse me. Also playing on the same night at the Star, providing that our singer Steve is well, Java Cane. They're playing their usual covers, alternative style 80s, 90s covers and things like that as well. You may know Steve Glasscock, the lead singer, from his role generally with Central Parting, but this is his other band, and they're doing fantastic local gigs. I think they're doing one this weekend just out of the borough, but they're back in for the Star on the 15th. And finally...
Yep, just rounding off with Cold Shots at the George Hotel.
Excuse me, God. And finally, just something we mentioned earlier on when Chris was here. There are still some tickets available for Courtney Pine and special guests at Revelation St Mary's, February the 27th. It's a Thursday evening, 7:45 start down there. They've got a huge row of events happening throughout the rest of the year, including one that I'm gutted I can't go to in March, the Orb. We mentioned it on the page this week.
That's a big announcement this week for Revelations.
Yeah.
Something a bit cheesier as well on the 22nd, which is a bit out of the remit of this gig list, but
Paul likes it.
Yeah.
Paul likes it.
Tickets are available now, and that's down at Ashford. What are they called? Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn, Ashford.
They're new on our gig list, but they seem to be putting on quite a lot. They've got a Michael Bublé tribute night.
Fantastic. Paul, you're going to go down and give us a review?
I will.
Just don't get up and join him or anything. Right, that's it from this podcast. Thank you very much indeed for sticking around throughout the whole duration. Thanks to Chris Dixon for being part of it. Thanks to Gemma from the HB Golf Academy for coming in and seeing us. And thanks to our fantastic live performer this evening, Ricky Short, is going to finish with a final track now. Ricky, take it away.
This is our brand new song called Alive. Took us a few days to get there, but we got it. Station for my train to arrive, waiting for the chance to find I feel alive. There's so many stops between here and there, but patience is a virtue which I have to bear, and I feel like I'm ready for those doors to open wide, and I feel like I'm moving, even though I am not yet inside. Different trains keep rolling by. When I hear those wheels come rolling to a stop, without a second thought, I'm gonna jump right on and peering through the windows with one last thought, how colorless life was and what it really brought. And I feel like I'm ready for those doors to open wide. And I feel like I'm moving, even though I am not yet in sight. And I feel like I'm ready for the station I'll soon arrive. And I know that I'm moving, colors come alive. And I feel like I'm ready for the station I'll soon arrive. And I know that I'm moving, colors come